This is our first time doing it as well, so you may never see this.
Yeah, honestly. Can you imagine stumbling after 2 kids?
It's more what my body would look like after the 2 kids. For whatever reason, the culture in this sport makes you put people on pedestals that they don't deserve. Then I think we just keep pushing on. Oh, we gotta have fun.
High five. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Routine Podcast.
Gymnastics Conversations.
I'm Chelsea.
I'm Chelsea's mom, Diana.
And we're back for episode 88.
And 88 is great.
88 is also a little bit late.
Very late. But we're back.
We are.
That's the key. We're back.
We're together.
Yeah, we're still together.
We're alive.
We're still together in quarantine mode.
Yeah. Should we just hop right into life updates? Where we've been? What's going on?
I think we can, but I do think we have to talk about the elephant in the room right now.
Is there one?
There is one. It's a something with lens and record buttons and power buttons.
You can now see us.
Yes. Chelsea has decided, and this is Chelsea.
This was a joint decision.
No. It's Chelsea's decision that it was time for us to go video.
Well, you agreed. You're not on camera unwillingly. How about that?
You don't think so?
No.
If I had my choice, I wouldn't be sitting here in front of the camera.
You've come to terms with it.
I have done what I often do with my daughter, and I agree.
With your children. It's not just me. It's
That's
your son,
true.
too.
I know. We don't have to start about the differences between how much I like him more than you.
Just
blah,
putting
blah,
that
blah.
out there.
No, so the Routine Podcast is now video.
Not strictly. We're testing the waters out.
Oh, does that mean I still have the chance to say no to this?
You do. It depends on if people want to watch us or not. The stats will let us know how we move forward with this.
Right. So we could say that the part of the reason it took us a little while to come back was that we were debating this whole thing. But I don't know if that would be true. I mean, this was part of our thinking. Right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely.
That Chelsea, every season she does this kind of, what do we want to do different? How do we want to, proceed differently? How do we want to be bigger and better?
But before we get into that, I think for those of you who are listening via just audio, tune into our YouTube channel if you want to see our faces, see what we look like, and just see how funny we are. No pressure to be funny, Mom.
Not how funny looking we are.
No, just how funny we are.
Okay.
Laugh with us,
Got
not
it.
at us.
Yeah. Good.
Our YouTube is the Routine Podcast, and it's free to watch. So
this is, again, where Chelsea every year wants to do something different. And she's actually been saying this for a couple seasons.
Yeah.
And I have been saying no.
There's other ways that we can expand and grow, Chelsea.
Yes, right. So we've been quarantined with each other every single day for the last 6 months.
But can I also say, I'm not really overly excited to be on camera either.
So why are we here?
I just know that whenever there is an option for the podcast that I listen to, whenever they say, oh, we also have video on our YouTube, I always watch the YouTube video. And even if it's like a couple of days after the actual episode comes out, I'll wait until they release the video version.
You will.
Because it's just so much more entertaining to me.
Got it. Well,
as a viewer.
Well, we're here.
We are.
We're doing it. This is our first time doing it as well, so you may never see this.
Yeah, honestly.
You may never see this.
Maybe the first and last time.
But I do think, to your point, it gives us the opportunity to kind of showcase who we are in a less sterile environment than just our voices.
Yeah.
We're in our Routine Podcast studio right now.
Studio is definitely in air quotes.
We have put the logo on the TV screen and we've made it a studio.
Yeah. That was a whole endeavor in itself. We've tried pretty much every room in your house to see what worked best and what fit us best, because I feel like you and I, it's like we're not really like high quality. Well, we're high quality. We're
Yes.
not studio, like television production. Like, no, that's not us.
No.
We're just Chelsea and Diana.
Yeah, but there is a difference, as you know. Chelsea is much more the perfectionist.
Yeah.
So even us being at this point right here, Chelsea has taken a ruler to measure the distance between us, the sides of us, what's between us.
It bothers me
The lights.
when things aren't like just the way they need to be.
The audio. Do we sound the same? Do we sound more hollow? Do we sound more tinty? So it's taken a minute. And I am the opposite, clearly. It's like,
Well, it depends. Mom will let you know she doesn't like something after you give her the final product. And it's like throughout the whole
true.
process, it's like
true.
you had the opportunity to give your opinion. You said, oh, yeah, that looks great. Oh, yeah, let's move forward. Do the whole thing. I don't like it. Mom, you had this whole time.
yeah. But sometimes it takes, as we've shared, right? It takes me seeing all the pieces together.
Yeah.
To realize that doesn't work. So like the first take that we did, it was down in the basement where we've been doing all of our audio work, which sounds great downstairs. But the way that the camera and the lights worked down there was really like bad public access television. And I said to Chelsea, I don't think you're going to want to do that.
Yeah. And we had done the whole episode, everything. So.
Plus, the way that we had it situated, there was like, 6 to 10 inches between like us and the table and the camera.
Yeah.
And I need more than 6 to 10 inches.
It's a little tight.
Everywhere.
Yeah, so we learned from that.
Yes.
And I'm sure we'll learn from this too.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll work. I mean, I think if we can get beyond this and just talk like we always talk.
Oh, I don't think we have to worry about that. Mom, we can always just riff on anything.
All right, so let's do that. Let's talk quarantine. Can we do that? Is that? I mean, I'm sorry. Where would you like to start? Because you're the main.
I think that's a really good idea. We've gotten a couple of tweets and emails.
People were worried.
Yeah. First of all, thank you all for reaching out to us.
Yes.
That's very kind of you. We are safe. We are both healthy. None of us, or neither of us, since there's only 2 of us in the house,
Yeah,
have
we
tested.
got the pups.
Well, neither of the 2 of us have tested positive for coronavirus that we know of.
No, and we have been tested. I've been tested.
Yeah, she's been tested. And I know if she hasn't had it, I haven't had it.
Right.
Because, again, we're stuck in the house.
Right. And we've been, when it says like quarantine, we are like the models of how to quarantine.
Yeah, we have been doing the same thing that we've been doing since March
13th.
March 13th.
I remember the date. I remember driving to DC, worried at, what is it, like 7 o'clock in the morning. Chelsea, get in the car.
We gotta go.
And we had no idea it would be 6 months.
6 months ago, I packed my suitcase for 2 weeks, a little, staycation with my mom, all my winter clothes, my sweatpants and my Uggs. Now it's like the end of August, and I still have my North Face, my Uggs, all my winter clothing.
Yes, she's been wearing the same thing every day.
Yeah, there's been a lot of clothes watching.
Yeah, but I think it's been fine. I mean, we do, groceries are delivered. It's kind of this whole Instacart, Grubhub, DoorDash kind of a thing that we're doing. Amazon's, been delivering.
Yeah.
And same thing with the pups. The pups it's been the 4 of us. The 4 of us for 6 months.
We've been on like a little compound.
We have. And it's been fine.
I think so
Don't
too.
you think?
Yeah, it hasn't been bad. I mean,
Uh-oh.
I feel like we understand each other enough to not get on each other's nerves.
Yeah. And we know when we are getting on that other person's nerves. And we also know not to force the other one to watch what the other one wants to watch, because our viewing habits couldn't be more different.
Ours just like the way we entertain ourselves is just very different.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So like
Mom likes to do puzzles, as you guys can see.
and this is a 1,000-piece one too.
Yeah, this has literally been on the counter since I came here. And
No, this is the second one.
oh, sorry, she gave up on the first one. But
I
it pretty
didn't
much,
give up.
It pretty much looked the same.
I did not give up. Don't tell tales.
There's 3. One of them you gave up on.
One of them I did give up
Okay.
on, but not the one before this one.
You did finish one in 6 months.
But what's the hurry?
See, that's what bothers me. Don't you just want to be done with it?
No. And that's the other thing. Like when I do puzzles, once I'm done, I mean that last piece is in, I may do 30 minutes and it's broken apart and back in the box again.
Yeah, that bothers me.
Yeah, that really bothers Chess. But for me, it's like that's the joy of putting the puzzle together. So yeah, I've been doing puzzles. I do really like rom-com movies and things that tug
Little
at the
House
heart.
on the Prairie.
Yes. I've saw a lot of like, again, feel-good movies. That's what I've been watching. And then, of course, I love the Marvel series. So I just last night until 2:00 in the morning watched the Infinity War, Avengers: The Infinity War.
I could care less.
It was so good. And part of the issue is, of course, when I watch those things, I like turn the volume up.
Oh my god!
So like I'm in it.
Yeah, the whole house is, even though we don't want it to be.
And meanwhile, back at the ranch, what's Chelsea watching? Go ahead.
Real Housewives.
Atlanta,
Beverly
Potomac,
Hills,
New
Dateline.
Jersey. Do you watch? Oh yeah, Dateline. I don't understand this. The millennial thing where you guys are watching Dateline all the time.
You can't group the whole generation.
I don't get it. Okay, I wonder how many people my generation watched Dateline
Sure, a lot. It's been on for a long time, so.
Yeah, but it didn't do what it does now, which is it's all women who've married somebody.
The love triangle.
Yes. Every Dateline is like that.
Anyways, yeah, 90 Day Fiance.
I do not watch that, guys.
Basically, any reality TV
Yes.
is my go-to.
90 Day Fiance.
But the way that like Little House on the Prairie makes you feel,
I'm sorry.
that's how reality TV makes me feel.
Really?
Yeah.
No. There's a difference. When I'm watching that,
It makes me feel good.
no. When I'm watching that, when it's over, I'm like, oh.
That's how I feel.
You're like on the couch, like laughing, like hysterics.
Because it's so funny.
So that's been our television habit, which has been fine. That's worked out fine. I think more than anything else, we've had the pups.
Yeah.
And that just keeps us really grounded. You've got 2 golden retrievers.
Yeah. They have joined us. They're our studio audience for today, although they fell asleep.
Yeah, because it took us a while to get measured correctly.
Okay. But it's true. I think without them, we would have killed each other by
I do
now.
too. I think, here's the thing too, I'll say this. It's not that Chelsea, that was one of them just breathing really hard. I don't know if you could hear that on the mics. But it's not that Chelsea couldn't leave me, because she really could, and go back to her apartment. I think she'd be fine. She's having a hard time leaving the pups.
Oh, yeah. I don't know when I'll be heading back. I'm just scared once I leave, I won't see Mom again. She's not going to let me back in the house.
Locking it down.
Yeah.
Locking it down.
I don't know. But I feel like we've understood each other very well.
I do too. And, it was some show I was watching. I think it was a news program of some sort. And they said, again, the daughter, the older daughter is home with her parents again. And she basically said, we won't be like this again, right?
Sure.
The opportunity for us to spend this much time together, this much quality time together, right? Because we're both teleworking, so we're not even going into the office. So we literally are with each other 24 hours a day. The chance and the time that will happen again,
Slim to none.
right? And I think you and I are both cognizant of that, that this quality time that we're able to spend together is really appreciated. And you would think that would mean that we would be recording more episodes.
I know.
But we haven't. It's just that we couldn't motivate ourselves, I think, right?
No, yeah, I think like everyone, the pandemic just kind of threw a wrench in everybody's plans. And on top of that, when season got canceled early, like we really had to pivot and figure out, okay, well, what are we going to do the rest of the season?
Yeah.
And for me, I was just kind of burned out at the end of it. Because usually we work all throughout season, every week, new episodes. And then at the end, we're at nationals, and it's kind of like this conclusion to something we've been working towards the whole
it's like
season.
This culmination.
Yeah.
Right.
And for us not to get anything out of all of our hard work at the end of season, it was tough. And I'm not even an athlete, so I can imagine how the athletes felt.
Or the mothers and fathers.
Yeah. And like you said in the beginning, we had wanted to kind of, I don't know, upgrade the podcast and do something different. We've been doing this for almost 4 years now.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, so I think it's time to, take it to the next step. What are we going to do? So we've been thinking about a lot of things over quarantine, but we've also just taken time to just decompress and evaluate everything that's going on in the world, because a lot of stuff has happened over the past 6 months.
Oh my gosh, right. You've had the protests and the Black Lives Matter movement. You've got the schools that have gone back into session, right? And some teams that are not competing, but practicing. You've got some of the, Big Ten, I guess, some of the schools have decided not to do some of their fall sports already. So there's a lot still going on, and there's still this whole question about what's going to happen in the fall with the virus. So I think all of that has played into our thinking about, well, when we move forward, what does that look like?
It's really hard to plan anything in today's world. Like, plans shouldn't even really be called plans anymore. It's just kind of like ideas of what you would like to happen, but you should always have a plan B, C,
Yeah, and I do think too, Chelsea, I don't think we should underestimate kind of the emotional impact that the coronavirus has had on everyone in the world, not just the United States, and how, we're looking at, from a reflective standpoint, what do we want to do? The time that we're spending together, how do we want to really capitalize on that in the future and do things that we like doing, that we want to do, less about, continuing to do the same old because that's what we were supposed to do. But what do we want to do?
Yeah.
And I think with, job security and figuring out, is this the job that I want to be at? I mean, all those things I think we're all also struggling with.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I think over this time, there's been so many stories from gymnasts, former gymnasts, coaches shared. And to me, it's just signified the importance of having an outlet to share raw and honest stories. And I think if we're able to help get those stories out there in whatever medium that we use, but I would love to help share the stories, these gymnastic stories.
I agree with that. I think an example is the one that we did, I guess it was maybe 2 months ago, the diversity episode, where I think we both felt that was a really good representation of how we felt and really how we felt about the Routine podcast and what it showcased.
Yeah, it wasn't just like, oh, well, let's sit down and talk about it and what are our thoughts on this. And no, we talked to diverse gymnasts who had some negative experiences in gymnastics because of their skin color, and some who had some positive experiences and how gymnastics has helped them in their lives.
Yeah, right. So if you haven't had the chance to listen to that podcast, and that one we did a video on that one too, right?
It's on our YouTube, the Routine Podcast.
Yeah, make sure you take a listen to that.
We got a lot of great feedback. We never actually thanked you guys. Thank you for all of the great feedback you all shared with us. I think a lot of people noticed the time and effort we spent on that, which we did.
Yeah, we
I'm
really
surprised
did.
we didn't kill each other putting that out.
Well, but we put it together separately.
Yeah, well, that's true. Mom
Right?
took one shift, I took another shift.
Right, right.
We handed off to each other.
But I think also that's what makes us good is that we come at it so differently.
Oh, yeah.
That when it gets integrated, and that's the hard part. The hard part is
Meshing it.
getting it back together.
Yeah. You have to speak my language. I have to speak your language. Right. It's hard.
And after 4 years of doing this, I think we're getting better at it.
We are.
We're getting more patient with each other at it.
We are.
If
we're both not like extremely tired,
right,
then we'll be good.
Right. But I do think, again, this quarantine has helped that, because when you're in DC and I'm here and it's 10 o'clock at night and we got to get a recording going because you've got to do some editing because you got to go to work in the morning and it needs to be posted on Thursday. Neither of us are at our best.
Oh, no, not at all. So yeah, I think that kind of covers where we've been, where we're going, our hopes and dreams for the future.
Can I just say I'm out of flour?
Oh, the Flour
All
Chronicles.
25 pounds gone.
Can you
guys.
give like a little synopsis of the story?
For those who don't know about the flour story?
Which we actually got some feedback on that, saying one of our listeners, that's our favorite story we've ever told on the podcast. Like, they were laughing just telling it back to me, which is so funny because like it literally is our life.
And because I just ordered a bag yesterday, as a matter of fact, and I think one of the listeners asked where in Kentucky.
Oh yeah, someone asked where you got the flour from.
Right, it's a company by the name of Weisenberger Mill, I think it is, and I could be saying the name wrong, but I believe that's what it is because I just ordered it yesterday. And again, 25-pound bag. It's hotel restaurant flour, $9.96.
I'll link it on our website.
25-pound bag.
If you guys want to support a small farm.
Now, the shipping cost, it's
Another story.
More than the flour. But it was great flour. I mean, and you know, we don't promote on this show, but I'm promoting the flour.
Hashtag not sponsored.
No, we didn't think to get them as a sponsor, a flour company, a flour mill. But I won't share the full story. Long story short, I bake a lot. Chelsea bakes a lot. And you need flour. And during the first part of the pandemic, March, April, we couldn't get flour from, any store we tried to get flour from. The shelves were bare. And so I went online, did some research, found a company that sold flour by the 25-pound bag, questioned whether or not we would use it all, which we did, although we did give some. I gave some to my son and my son's fiance. But not long story short, we did use it all. And there is a story associated with it. Again,
listen to, I don't know what episode, but it's like within the past 5 episodes, there's a short little story. Actually, it's not really short story.
My stories are never short.
But it's a really funny story if you guys want to listen to it.
All right, is it time to talk gymnastics?
I guess this is a gymnastics podcast. I just want to make sure everyone knows where we've been, what we did, everything. I think the biggest news is that Chelsea Mimmel has officially announced her comeback.
Oh, wow.
Which is like so awesome.
Speaking of video, that's how she's kind of doing it, right?
Yeah, so she has a YouTube channel and she's kind of documenting her journey back. She's like taking the video, but she's videoing all her practices.
Videotaping, how about that? Videoing?
She's recording because there's no tapes in the video anymore.
Okay.
Boomer.
Do you think videoing is a word nowadays?
I don't know. I don't think so. She's recording all of her practices and she's just showing the milestones, which is so cool.
Yeah. And she's doing that on YouTube? She's got her own YouTube channel?
Yeah. I think it's like weekly she uploads, which is so cool.
Okay.
But the coolest part is that she's 32 years old.
Yeah.
But age is just a number, honestly.
That's right.
And she has 2 young kids.
Mm-hmm. And she's like showing them what she can do.
Yeah. And like in one of her recent videos, she actually brought her daughter with her.
Oh, wow.
So it was like, bring your daughter to work. How cool is that?
I wonder if her daughters are doing gymnastics, are old enough to, or will do.
I think she only has one daughter.
You said 2 kids. Oh, no, a son too.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. So I'm excited for Chelsea. I think everyone is, and everyone is a fan of Chelsea. It's hard not to root for someone that's doing something so unconventional.
Absolutely. Wouldn't that be great to have Chelsea Memo and Simone in the Olympics?
Yeah. I mean, why not?
That'd be great.
Yeah.
I can't imagine my body at the age of 32 still trying to do all that.
Me neither. And after 2 kids.
Well, the 2 kids, that's probably, I don't know.
Can you imagine stumbling after 2 kids?
It's more what my body would look like after the 2 kids. And we've had that discussion before about, you know, Leos and all that stuff. But yeah.
I think it's also interesting, like, how, I know this isn't a sentence, but I think it's interesting how the Olympics being postponed has affected people differently.
Yeah, sure.
Like, because Chelsea has an extra year, it's like she can train like really hard for this year and then see how it goes.
Sure.
But for some who have been training and training
Oh, I know.
to know that they have a whole nother year, it's like a whole nother story.
Oh, and it's so funny, right? Because even we were talking about this and we were saying Simone now has to wait another year. We were like, oh, what does that do to her body? But that like just throws it out the window when you're looking at Chelsea.
Yeah.
It's like, whatever, do it.
Yeah. It's just, this virus has just
Flipped everything upside down.
Yeah. Another thing, which isn't so happy news, is that Dee Bro retired.
Oh, I know. LSU. Can you guys believe that? And it was just like it's like a whisper. It just happened.
It did.
That there wasn't a lot of warning, a lot of just Chelsea. And I know you got to do better than this.
What?
I was like working, and I get a little tweet from Chelsea or a link to a tweet.
Well, I was just scrolling through Twitter and I just saw Dee Bro retire.
I know, but we're in the house together. So you just like come downstairs, because we do it. You know, she works upstairs, I work downstairs, which has really worked well. But you just like come downstairs and say, "Hey, Mom, something I need to let you know." You know, just like to send.
Well, I was shocked by the news.
Right.
And like, she never got the national championship.
No, but I don't know if she was ever going to get it.
This season.
You think this would have been it, Chels?
I think they had a good chance this year.
Okay.
Not that they still can't do it, but given everything, I think they have a really good chance.
Wow. Can we just say a little bit about Dee Dee? I think it's worth us saying, like, how many years? Can you just look at that?
Let me get my Google machine going.
Yeah, get your Google machine. I mean, I know I have this iPad.
I know, right? What are you doing?
But it's going to take you quicker than it's going to take me to try to even find Safari to like get to it.
Okay. Dee Bro retires after 43 seasons. Wow. And she
43 seasons.
She started at LSU.
I wonder how old she was when she started.
She was the longest tenured coach of any sport in the SEC.
Really? Wow. So congratulations, Dee Dee. And I'm assuming Jay's the new head coach?
Yes. Which is very exciting for him.
Well earned.
Oh, yeah. And he's been in this position before. He's been the head coach at Georgia. So it's going to be interesting to see what he brings into this program.
Yeah, how he changes it. I mean, I think we found it in UCLA. I think we found it with Jordan Weber's ascension, that they really do make the program their own.
Oh, yeah.
Regardless of the legacy that Miss Val had. And I assume we're going to see it with Dee Dee. Regardless of that legacy, Jay's going to make the program his own.
I feel like you have to.
I do too.
Like, you got to make a name for yourself.
Well, and I just think we all think differently.
Yeah.
And so even though she's been the head coach and it was clearly, successful program from where she took it to where it ended, he's got a lot to just piggyback on and just launch it the way he wants it to be launched.
Yeah. And he has everything right there. He has the gymnast. He has this incredible facility. He has the fan base. It's like, what more can you ask for?
Yeah, she did it.
No pressure, though.
But congratulations, Dee Dee.
Yeah, and thanks for always being so nice to us every time we talk to you.
She really was. Yeah. And we got better at talking to Dee Dee.
Yeah. She was a little bit intimidating.
Very intimidating. We were a little overwhelmed. But you know, it made it easier for us to talk to Dee Dee because she would have like Sarah Finnegan next to her, right?
Yeah.
But she'd have a gymnast next to her that we would like look at and be like, okay, it's gonna be okay. But Dee Dee was pretty intimidating.
Yeah.
Especially when you think about all the coaches that we've interviewed. She was by far the most intimidating, don't you think?
Well, you just knew how seriously she took her job.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you got to respect her for that.
Yeah. Yeah. We weren't worthy.
No, that too.
That's what it always felt like. We're not worthy,
Yeah,
but we're trying.
The last thing I have on the list, which...
And can I just say, she didn't say, news you can use.
Well, all of this is news you can use at
I'm
this
so
point.
glad. Maybe this season, can we just say this?
No, we're still going to do it. Everyone says they love it.
No,
right, guys?
They did not say that they love that. They love the information. They didn't say they love the title or the way you say the title.
I think you're just a hater.
Yeah, I would like it if we didn't have to do it this season, though. But go ahead. I'm listening.
Athlete A, which is another huge topic that could be an episode of its own.
I don't even know what Athlete A is. Help me.
The documentary we watched on Netflix. We watched it together. That was one of the like 5 things we've watched together in
if we can't watch
quarantine.
gymnastics together, then that's a whole nother issue. But that was just horrible.
Yeah, that was a really, really hard documentary to watch. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, it's a documentary on Netflix kind of detailing the whole Larry Nassar USAG problem, catastrophe, I guess you could call it.
Yeah, it wasn't a problem. It was bigger than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think what was good about it is it featured Maggie Nichols. And, you know, this was the opportunity for Maggie to share her story. Mm-hmm. Instead of us hearing and reading from what everybody else
Speculating.
says. That's right. This was Maggie, you know, sharing, and Maggie's mother sharing.
And father.
That's right. Sharing their story. Mm-hmm. And I think more than anything else, it makes you even more angry. It made me even more angry.
Yeah.
But it helped me understand why we ended up where we ended up.
And it's so true because there's been so many short form videos, documentaries, movies, articles about this whole situation. But every time you read or watch a new video, you still get so angry inside. Mm-hmm. Even though you know the story, but it just hurts.
It does. And I think it's more important than anything else of why we, you know, look at our girls in this sport.
Gymnasts, they're not girls.
Oh, thank you, Chelsea. Look at the gymnast or the athletes. How about that?
Yeah.
Let's look at the athletes, but I can say our girls, our daughters. Look at our daughters involved in this sport with a really critical eye. Mm-hmm. And that's a critical eye to everything and everyone in it. Whether that's the coaches, whether that's the equipment, whether that's the parent association, whether it's USAG, which for me, I wouldn't, you know, I had to pay every year for you to be a part of USAG. I don't even know what parents do right now. For you to be able to compete at, you know, events, I had to pay a fee to USAG. I don't know what I would do right now because I'm telling you that would be really, really tough for me.
Yeah.
Based on everything that organization did or didn't do.
Or is still doing.
Yeah, it would be really hard for me to contribute and pay a fee to them.
Yeah.
It's a different story, though. It's that could be on another episode.
Yeah, I think positives from this is that it has inspired so many gymnasts, no matter how old, no matter how young they are. It's inspired people to use their voice. When it comes to physical abuse, sexual abuse, mental abuse. Mm-hmm. And even we can go as far as we're now seeing these race allegations. It's inspiring people to share their truth. And I feel like...
And to hear it, right? For me to hear it now in a way that I didn't hear
exactly.
before.
And if there is a silver lining in any of this, I think it's that. Because I know firsthand, starting as a gymnast at 4, you're learned to just sit down, shut up, and listen to your coach.
Yeah.
And they're always right, you know? So
yeah, it's so true.
For gymnasts to know that they can speak up, I mean, that's the most important thing.
I think you're so right. I do. And I think that for whatever reason, the culture in this sport makes you put people on pedestals that they don't deserve.
Yeah.
Because everybody's human.
Yeah.
Everyone is human. And to treat somebody differently because of their experience, because of their school, because of their power to make a difference on somebody's life, for us to not look at that just as critically. And so I agree with you. I think the silver lining is that we are listening to our daughters in a way in which we didn't before.
I think even to spin off of that, through this podcast over the past 4 years, we've interviewed so many people within the community, both virtually and in person. But I think through all of this, I've learned that these athletes in college, in elite, we're all human. We all make mistakes. We're not perfect. And I think, like you said, fans, spectators, even coaches, it's like we idolize these people when really I think they're just like you and me. And I think that's important as a fan to think about.
And maybe we do that by looking at the actions of people more than the individual. And by that I mean, what is the contribution that they're bringing specifically versus, just looking at the name. Like specifically, what is the contribution that that individual is bringing? And let me just give you, to me, like a really perfect example of that. Dr. Dave Tilley, right? It's very easy to look at the contribution that he has brought and is bringing to this sport and this critical eye that he wants all of us to think about when we're thinking about our daughters. I remember you telling me maybe a month ago about a survey that you filled out that he had sent out. And the questions, right, were very specifically trying to understand from the gymnast perspective the real impact psychologically and physically that you as a former gymnast went through. And he's going to continue to share that. So I think that's maybe how we start. Instead of saying, oh, this coach is head of X school, and therefore that makes them someone. Let's understand and look critically at the program, at the training, at the injuries, not just whether they won or lost, right?
Look at it for what it is.
The
Very
academics,
black and white.
right? The academic support, those kinds of things. Let's just do a deeper level of look, and maybe that will help us.
Yeah. I think we could go on that topic for, it's been I feel like we've been in hibernation and we're just ready to just
maybe that's what we
tackle.
needed. Maybe we just needed to dust the rust off and just start again.
I've been thinking a lot because there's been a lot of things happening in the gymnastics community over these past 6 months, and so many people have come forward about so many different topics. And it's just made me evaluate and really think about, we're all human at the end of the day. We're all just trying to figure out life.
I think it's also helped us really think about the voice of this podcast and what it is that we want to bring into this community, of what you could also hear and listen to that you may not have. And again, that's how we started the podcast, right? Your whole point was there was a voice that you wanted people to hear, that whether it was the voice of a diverse gymnast, whether it was the voice of a mother,
a former gymnast, because at the time I feel like gymnasts weren't really talking at all. It was just people outside of the sport that were commenting on the sport, which I felt like was unfair.
And I think if we continue that as our foundation always, and if we feel at some point that there's nothing that we can offer, then that's maybe the time where we say, okay,
our job is done.
Thank you so much. It's been great. But until then, or until we get tired,
whichever one comes first,
then I think we just keep pushing on.
I agree.
In the way that you want to do it. Oh, we got a high five.
High five. Okay, my last question I have for you.
Okay.
which I think should be a running question from here on out.
Okay.
Do you think there will be a gymnastics season come January? The way that College Gym News has been doing it, which I think is really interesting, is every month they put out the question, do you think there will be an NCAA gym season?
So every month they do this.
And the selections are, yes, there will be a normal season, no, there will be a shortened season, or no, there will be a canceled season.
I believe
Yes, mother.
that there will be a normal, regular, full season.
Seriously?
Maybe this is keep hope alive.
Yeah, right? Like, it's not like, what do you want? What do you actually think will happen?
Well, that's a good question. So they keep talking about a vaccine. And they talk about a vaccine, obviously, for next year. And they talk about that it would probably be more like spring, summer before all people would have access to it.
Yeah.
Athletes, I think, would get access to it sooner rather than later, especially if you're a Division I school with these top athletes, right? Go back to where's the money at? Yeah, I think competition season starts in January. They have to practice now. Okay, I take that
They're
back.
traveling all across the U.S.
Well, here's the one thing I would say about this sport. It's an individual sport, right? So you can be on beam and I can be on bars and we never have to cross each other, right? It's kind of like tennis. It's individual. Tennis is continuing right now. I don't know if you noticed that. We were watching, a little bit of tennis this morning, right? So that's one of those sports where it's an individual sport. It's not a team sport.
Yeah, but you got to get there.
Yeah, but if my 10 athletes, how many? 12 athletes are in a big bus and we're social distance on the bus, and I get to your university, and again, you're warming up on vault and I'm warming up on bars, that's social distancing. So I think if there is a sport that could start on time, gymnastics is that sport. So I'm back to where I was. Yes, it's going to start. It's going to be a normal season. That's what I'm saying. And I'm sticking to it.
I don't think there will be a season.
At all?
No.
Wow, that
I don't think they're gonna do a case by case basis that you're saying. I think it's gonna be.
Will.
No, I think it's gonna be like fall sports are canceled, winter sports are canceled. Like it's gonna be. And if they were gonna pick a sport to continue, it's not gonna be gymnastics.
I don't know.
Gymnastics doesn't bring the majority of gymnastics programs. Don't bring in any money. They just spend it.
All right, let's talk about the SEC, right?
Yeah.
That conference is still going right now.
Right now.
The SEC could just do their own thing like they have been doing. And guess what? That's a heck of a conference to watch.
I don't think so.
All right, we shall see.
I don't think so.
I think it's going to be tough for this podcast to continue without the sport.
We can, Mom, we know how to pivot. We've done this before.
We have, but not for a whole season.
Yeah.
Well,
We'll get there when we get there.
Well, that's the question we should ask. Have people call and leave us voicemails and all that good stuff.
Yeah. What do you guys think will happen with NCAA Gym season this year? Do you think there will be a season?
Yeah, let's see what people say.
Do you think they'll make travel restrictions? What do you think will happen?
I think that's the perfect opportunity to leave us a voicemail.
Well, we'll get there.
Okay.
I think first,
Okay.
if you guys want to tweet us about it, you can tweet us. Our Twitter is @RoutinePodcast. You can also email us. Our email is info@theroutinepodcast.com. Or, as Mom is so eagerly waiting to say, you can leave us a voicemail about it too.
Why? And I was trying to see if I had notes of what I'm supposed to say.
Uh-oh. You're on the spot.
All right, so here we go. And you can leave us a voicemail by going to theroutinepodcast.com.
It's a good start.
Go to the episode that you're most interested in leaving us a voicemail about. Go to the top of that page. You're going to see 4 buttons. One of those buttons is going to be a voicemail button. Click that. There's a microphone. Click the microphone and you leave us a voicemail.
Wow. I just double checked your work and you are correct.
There we go.
Yeah, so hopefully you guys liked us being back in action. Hopefully you like being able to see us on camera again.
That you might not see, but we have to look at it first.
But yeah, if you guys want to check out this episode or our diversity episode, go to our YouTube channel, The Routine Podcast, and make sure you subscribe. We're searching for subscribers.
Oh, yes. Do I have to remember that too? Okay, let's see if I can remember.
Okay, you don't have to do all that.
Whew, good.
I don't even know what you were about to say, but you look really stressed.
I did. There's some page you're supposed to go to on the website. Oh, no, that's a member.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we should say that too, right?
Yeah. Thank you to all of our members, by the way.
And you've stayed with us too as we've kind of struggled a little bit. But we're back.
Yeah.
But you become a member by going to the members page. Correct, Chels?
Yeah, well, you can start off on the Support Us page.
There we go. So you go to the website. There's a Support Us page. There are 3 options to choose from. You can choose any of those options. Any of those help us. And there are different things you get with each one. You get a bag. You get information to our secure site. At some point, there might be video on this secure site that you won't see unless you're a member. Mm-hmm. Chelsea's thinking about a bloopers, something or another on there, which I have not agreed to.
A lot of bloopers.
But think about becoming a supporter of the Routine Podcast.
Yeah. And thanks for listening. And thanks for watching.
And we'll talk to you all next time.
Yeah. Hopefully it's sooner rather than later. And I hope everyone's staying safe.
Absolutely. It's been fun talking.
Bye.
Bye.